Welcome to Mind Your Health podcast with me, Dr. Connie. Let me get my little puppy up here. Come on. All right, say hi to Zoe. So, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why you're more than your parts. So, a lot of the holistic medical practices, as well as conventional, I believe, makes a mistake, or they overlook the fact that we're more than the parts. And for us as a learned individual with lots of education, when we go into education, we have to dissect the parts to understand it. But sometimes we forget that we do things and we have to consider that everything is in the context of the whole. And for me, for as long as I've been in education as well as in clinical practice, I had the difficult time of really staying in my lane in my different disciplines that I studied, because I always wanted to pull it together as a whole. And now that I have my own programs called the Gut Healing Transformation and Alkaline Wellness Center through functional yoga medicine, I'm able to tie all the gaps together in a way where you can walk away empowered to live the solution every single day. Because if you're like most people struggling with various symptoms, not quite bad enough to disrupt your daily life, but enough to suck the motivation out of you, you know what I'm talking about. You likely have tried different diets and supplements and considered other alternative solutions, good solutions like chiropractic, acupuncture, and even functional medicine. Right? But while holistic or alternative medicine is preferred over conventional medicine, it's becoming more and more so, I should say, I believe sometimes we miss the big picture regarding patient treatments. Because each holistic alternative medicine has its place in treating symptoms, but they don't quite, or they hit the mark when providing a complete solution for you, the patient. And typically, you're told what to do. Like, eat this, not that, take this, not that, do this, not that, with good intention. However, the result of such an approach is typically not followed through by the patient and does not address the bigger picture. And it's not being followed through because of the gap. And that gap needs to be addressed. And I'll explain why or how. Because think about it. If it worked, because there's a surge of so many different types of dramatic increase in type of holistic practitioners exploding, right, in our world today, when in fact, we have a dramatic increase, a surge in patients who are symptomatic with minimal results, and they're not getting the results that they need. They keep missing the mark. They might address certain symptoms and perhaps it may even go away, only to return. And I see time and time again, patients sort of circling around on a hamster wheel, trying different things, hoping for the best, and not really being able to address or nip everything or the symptoms in the bud. And I too have been exactly where you are, because after 30 years of education and experience, clinical experience, I've come to terms with the fact that everything offered in the name of holistic healing, they still only address parts of the whole. I never got a full holistic service where I can implement day to day. Because really think about it. Our bodies are like computers with hardware and software installed, right? The hardware is our central nervous system and the brain, and the software is our peripheral system. You know, it's our body that functions according to its programming, the software, right? So I have a MacBook Pro, and despite its high memory capacity, when I try to run too many applications, it stops responding to my command. I wanted to do something, my buttons won't work. I have to restart the computer for it to function correctly, close out of the many, many commands that I want it to do because it can't do it all. And I have to sort of restart the computer for it to start to function correctly. It overheats, right? And my MacBook Pro is essential to me and for my business and my life. And it's got many capabilities that I haven't even begun to touch, but I use a lot of it, more than most people. But if I don't know how to use it, it wouldn't be as valuable to me as it is. I'm learning it and I'm learning more and more. And my capability with this capacity needs to meet somewhere, right? I have to do it. I can't constantly call the Apple guys to figure it out. It not only puts me in a place of complete disempowerment, but it frustrates me because now I have to depend on them to fix my computer. It's mine. For example, if you give the MacBook Pro to a child, a toddler or a 4-year-old, right? A baby who can't really know the full functionalities of the computer unless they're a genius, they wouldn't really know what to do with it unless you turn it on, right? And then you might perhaps open the Netflix app, find the right show for them that's age appropriate, and choose what they would watch on the MacBook for them. And that's not very productive when it comes to healthcare, right? Because they need to be fully aware of what the MacBook Pro is capable of for them to really recognize the power of it. But they're not able to do that. And for you to do all the things for them would not be productive for you or for them, right? Because then you'd be tied down to doing the thing that they want, and they might throw temper tantrums if you don't. So you're constantly having to do that or change it. And it's not a very productive way of getting the result that you want. So I'm not sure if it's a parallel example, but my point being is that when you become dependent on somebody else to figure out the thing that you have, when in fact the MacBook Pro is your miraculous computer capable of many things, you have to depend on Apple guys to fix it all the time, or your child has to depend on you to come and do all the things for you. It's not as productive. Well, our bodies are the same way. We have a unique biological machine capable of miraculous healing. Yet we limit it to what the doctors or influencers recommend we do with our body to function at its best. It's almost like we're using the same MacBook and we're using it based on what they indicate to use it versus us figuring out what's best for us. That's like limiting its capacity to only watching Netflix and the shows recommended by someone without creating your likes and dislikes. Because if you know anything about Netflix, it has an algorithm that learns what types of shows you like based on what you watch. So it's full of specific recommendations for you. For example, when I switched to my son's account in Netflix, I don't even know how to navigate his Netflix account because his interests are entirely different from mine. So we all have different genetics, interests, preferences, desires, and dreams in the same vein. We must honor this when we choose or when we are choosing what's best for us. Because at the end of the day, disease results from imbalances in the body, mainly in the central nervous system and the hardware with the software. We have hardware programmed within every one of us, and we must become self-aware of our programming to know what's working and what's not. This hardware creates our thoughts, feelings, sensations, actions, and results we make in our lives. And it really determines what software we choose. Software are things like the diet, types of exercise, stress management, supplements. Those software only make a difference in the context of the hardware being in the right place. And that synergistic interaction between the hardware and software, and it being aligned creates for a powerful machinery. And I want you to think about it like that. Your body, like a computer, like a highly designed MacBook computer that you haven't fully learned how to operate. Because when making a change for better health, you must address the whole body versus its parts. Before choosing the correct healing path or software, whether that's choosing a diet, exercise program, supplement, or stress management, recognize that there are these 4 layers. And I want you to really understand it in the context of the whole, no matter what you try. Without addressing these layers, whatever you try, the software will only be effective short term. It'll only get rid of the symptoms momentarily or temporarily. So let me explain. The innermost, the basic layer is we have what's called a physical layer that consists of our anatomical structures, including all the joints in the body and the organs housed within our abdominal cavity in this section, right? This is the layer that allows our bodies to move. As they say, movement is medicine, and it requires proper activation of specific muscles and alignment of the joints, which requires self-awareness. Okay? That's the first layer. It's our anatomical structures, what they are. We have then an emotional layer. It's almost like the physiological layer, right? Emotional synonymous with physiological, where the movements, like how we move our body, is facilitated by the inner chemical exchange, biochemical exchange within us. Because for the movements to occur, we need energy derived from a metabolic process that requires metabolites from food to be transformed into energy that the muscles can use. And the muscular contraction induced by movement facilitates this energy flow in the body, allowing communication from the brain to the respective muscles and organs to support such exchange. This includes the digestion, absorption, assimilation, and elimination. And when I talk about gut health, that's your solar plexus. And that is really, really where the heart of all this exchange really takes place. Not to mention that that's where a lot of our fire resides, fire for our life, right? And the third layer of is the psychological layer, where the motivation to choose to eat, to move, and do the things in life is really determined by the thoughts and the respective feelings that it triggers. This is also where the brain can make sense of the sensations of the body, such as the tightness in the chest if you get anxiety attacks, pain in the body, certain, like in your abdomen, that pit of your gut sensation sometimes that we get, stomach aches, muscle aches, headaches. It's where we can smell, we can have touch, hearing, and make sense of such experiences is the third layer. And the fourth layer, the higher up, is the energetic layer, where it's purely electromagnetic. This is the highest layer of the body that allows for the energy to flow within the body that connects the body to the whole, to all life forms. It connects me to you energetically. I can tell I pick up, maybe if we're in the same room, if you're upset, I pick up on that energy. It's something I can't really put words to, but I sense. And that's the fourth layer. What I can tell you is if we get stuck in the second layer or the first layer, that's all we feel. We're so in the physical body that we lose the electromagnetic power, right? To sense all the body so that we can connect to our body to make sense of it and then make appropriate decisions. But if you're not connected there, and you're blindly following all the things on the internet and stuck at the second layer, And that's where a lot of people are is, I need this diet, I need that diet, I need to take this supplement. Let me take a look at the microbiome of my gut and let me do that test and figure that out and give me this supplement for this deficiency and all that. Well, that can work and it's very scientific because it's cause and effect, but you're missing the higher layers, the psychological layers of your tendencies, your very motivation to make decisions on your own and sense what the body is telling you, as well as the fourth layer where you can sense the whole body and you become purely aligned and purely electromagnetic, so that the flow of the energy, it's called qi in Chinese medicine, and really the chakra levels in the spine that elevates up to the crown chakra and above to communicate and be whole and aligned with the world is what's missing. And when that happens is when the body can fall sick. Because when all body layers are aligned, this is scientific, you can transcend your physical limits and be connected to the whole, to the moon cycles, perhaps the earth's energy, and truly be grounded in the truth. This may seem very abstract and hard to comprehend. However, it's something that you inherently already know, that you feel and experience as you begin to heal your body as a whole versus in parts and pieces. You're not giving it justice when you are picking at the parts and denying your inner power to guide your health and life truly. Depending on the experts or doctors, to depend on the experts or doctors to save you or heal you will eventually backfire, as they can only offer their knowledge, and that's limited in their understanding, right? It's not fully aligned with you. To fully heal and optimize your health, you must align the 4 layers of the body. And that's why I've created the functional yoga medicine through Alkaline Wellness Center, alkalinewellness.com, to bring you back to you through daily practice that aligns your physical, emotional, and psychological and energetic layers. It's stacked, right? So that you can be vital. It's not enough to go from diet to diet. You must live your life aligning the layers of your body through daily practice, which in my experience is done best through mindful movement, like yoga. Yoga in the context of functional yoga medicine isn't about contorting your body or being flexible. It's about facilitating the layered experience you can practice every day to come home to yourself ultimately. Your opportunity for growth and awareness will finally make you whole and complete. Remember, you guys, healing is a journey and a conscious expansion that provides you with the ultimate freedom. The more sicker you are, the more contracted and yin you become. We need both the yin and the yang energy. We need the flow from one spectrum or one end to the other. Just like there's positives and negatives, sad and glad, and, death and life, everything works in polarity. And that's what we explore together through the functional yoga medicine. It isn't about me telling you what I know. We need to experience the healing effects. And really the healing effects is you getting connected with your own truth. And that is a journey, really tying in these layers of your body with a full understanding that ultimately you want to be electromagnetic once again, coming back home to you. If you want to learn more about us, visit us at alkalinewellness.com, as well as drconniecheng.com. Follow me for more at Dr. Connie Cheng on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as TikTok. Thank you so much. And also subscribe, please, to Mind Your Health podcast, available through all channels that have podcasts available, including Spotify, Google Play, as well as iTunes. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to serve you, and I'll see you guys all soon.